Okay, next step, making the actual nut for the neck. Picked up this ebony blank. There's actually two pieces this size for a knife handle. I couldn't find any actual blanks for banjo nuts, so I can make a bunch out of this. It was only like, I think, $6 for two pieces. So and actually the dimension thickness wise, I measured one. I'm kind of using off the buckbee that I picked up as a since I don't have the old nut for this Lyon and Healy, to kind of get my string height. So I measured it out, and it's basically the exact dimensions thickness of this. So I'm just going to cut this down widthwise and lengthwise and sand it and groove it, and shouldn't be too bad. So I'll show you how that goes here. Okay, I'm making this nut, and this is some pretty precision work. I measured the neck, and measured the neck on the buckbee and several other banjos I have, and kind of measured the string spacing and the height of the nut versus the height of the neck, and various things, or the height of the fretboard, and came up with what I think is correct, because of course the nut was completely missing, so I don't have anything to go by. And I've just used a belt sander, stationary belt sander, and just kept working this thing. Put a little bit of a back taper on it so that the strings come up nice and wrap over it, and have my notches marked out, so I'm going to cut those notches next. And sorry if this is a little shaky, I've got it on the zoom so you can see it. Put this in a vise here with a couple of popsicle sticks so it doesn't get marred. And I've got my strings marked out. I think they ended up being about 5/16 of an inch apart. And then I marked, I don't know if you can see it on here, but I've got pencil marks for depth. So I'm going to just use, I've got a little coping saw with the finest blade I have. And I'm going to notch these out, and I'll have to adjust them or make sure they are deep enough for the gut strings. So see how that goes here. Okay, so far so good. Got the grooves cut down to the depth I want, and going to sand these just a little bit. Since I am going to be using the gut strings, I made them a little bit wider, and I'm going to sand them just a hair to make them nice and smooth. So, okay, starting the reassembly. Want to go ahead and get some strings on it before I do a final glue of that new nut. So, and I'm just going to put a tiny drop of glue underneath. I may not even need anything string tensional. It fits pretty tight anyway with the string tension, but I may just put a little drop under there. So I've got it all reassembled here. Got the rod lined up like it's supposed to be. That worked out. I don't know why that was out of sorts. Got the tailpiece back on, neck all nice and tight. So wipe the neck down just with a damp cloth. So getting close here. Okay, got the nut installed. Just used just a dot of wood glue right in the middle, so it can be removed easily if I would like to change it out later. But I think that's pretty good for a first. We'll see how it works, but that's my first nut I've ever made. So got a new ebony nut, and fits pretty nice. Beveled the back of it, sanded it smooth, sanded the grooves. So we'll see how it works here. So like I said, I'm going to wait on the 5th string nut until I get my string height. See how high I want it, try to match it a little bit. So now onto the bridge. And what I'm going to use to start out with, I may change this or try some different ones, but I've got this old bridge from that Harmony I picked up. And it's damaged, and it's really tall anyway. It's like 3/4 of an inch. So what I'm going to do, I mark the slots, the string grooves, and I'm going to sand that smooth and then recut the groove shorter. And then I'm going to dye this kind of a dark color to match the rest of the banjo. And see how that works. So it looks more period correct with the 2 foot. I've got some new Grovers and stuff I may try to see if if they sound a lot better, I might use one, but I like trying to keep it period correct here as much as possible. So anyway, I'll start out with that one. So we'll get that done, and then we'll get some strings on it next.